everybody, and welcome into another Sports Scene special. It is the NFL Draft Party for 2024. I am your host, as always, David Wood. You know, we started this a couple of years ago. We did some mock drafts and some predictions on what the NFL Draft would bring. The NFL Draft is tomorrow. It's going to be a fabulous thing. You know, I think I get geared up more for the NFL Draft than I do for opening day for the NFL, and I'm missing me some football. Football right around the corner for high school and for some of the colleges. They're getting underway with some spring games. You know, schools are beginning to let out for their summer break, and 7-on-7 will be starting pretty soon. And you know, there's a lot of things going on football wise, but man, I tell you what, there's nothing like the NFL Draft. It's become, since the 80s, it's just kind of evolved to where it's an event in and of itself. And, you know, we like to get on here because we're the pros. We're really the pros. You know, me and my brothers, we're the pros at picking and guessing. And if these GMs would listen to us, maybe they'd wind up with a little bit better product on the field. Couldn't do any worse than the Cowboys, right? So we're gonna play around with this a little bit and kind of give our insight on what we think some of these teams might do. I have spent an extensive amount of time. I've been bored, folks. Spent an extensive amount of time studying each and every all the rosters, all of the dirt sheets on what the general managers and the coaches and all of the personnel units are looking for in each and every team around the NFL landscape. And I think I've got a pretty good mock draft. And of course, we'll see tomorrow how that pans out. And of course, it will be televised. ESPN, NFL Network, I don't know who's carrying it, but it's going to be all over the place. You'll hear it. Before we get into all the NFL draft stuff, man, I got to tell you, I'm super stoked. By the way, we want to hear what you have to say. That is the most important thing, because scrolling across the bottom, you'll see my note to you. It says you can give us your picks for the team. So in the comment section, if you'll tell us, you don't even have to go. You don't have to go as extensive as what we've got or what I've got, but you can put on there who you think the Cowboys might take, who you think your favorite team might take, all of that good stuff and everything. But before we do all that, I have to cover some of my Toller Rattlers. You know, the Toller Rattlers, we covered them. Man, will this be the last season that the sports scene carries the Toller Rattlers? Well, we hope not. I will hope that we'll be able to go. I'm kind of reinvigorated with the new coach. I got to interview him at a baseball game. You can go back and look at that here recently. Really think that this guy's going to bring in some fresh new stuff. And, you know, the Toller Rattlers, I don't know if anybody knows this, but, yeah, they were state finalists for 2A Division I in 2023. I don't know if anybody knows that or not. I'm just saying, you know, they were state finalists 2A Division I. Now, they have moved up. They are 3A Division II. Donnie was going to come on. I don't know if he's going to be able to come on or not. I know he's got a lot of stuff going on in Arlington tonight and everything, but he said, man, let's do a bucket list because today's bucket list day. And I said, oh, man, that sounds great. We got to work on it. And I was thinking one of my bucket lists, it's not really a bucket list. I didn't put it down as one of my bucket lists, but one of the things I'd like to see in this next new year, could the Toller Rattlers possibly be, because one of my bucket lists was to call a game at Cowboy Stadium, and we got to do that this last year thanks to those Toller Rattlers. And I tell you what, it was a great time. I got to do it with my brothers, man. What bigger, there ain't no better way than to do it with your brothers, and it was a lot of fun. Had a great time doing it too as well. And I'd like to do it again, maybe one year 2A Division I, next year 3A Division II. Hey, could we be state finalists? Could we make another trip to Jerry's World? First time in 3A this new go-around. I'm just saying it can happen. I've seen weirder stuff happen. But before we get into the draft, I want to talk about those Rattlers. Tomorrow night, folks, I got it right here, big and beautiful. Tomorrow night, don't miss this. This Lady Rattler, I haven't been able to call any softball games this year because our agreement is with the baseball team. But I'll tell you what, the Lady Rattler playoffs going on tomorrow. Starts tomorrow, that's right. And it's going to be in Rio Vista. 6 o'clock is the first pitch. It will be Toller against Itasca. And I'm going to make a prediction right here. The Toller Lady Rattlers will be by district champions and moving on to that area round tomorrow in Rio Vista. Now, I work in the Burleson area, so I get off at 6. So hopefully they'll still be whooping up on them by the time I'm able to get down there. I'm going to try to make a trip down there and check them out. Now, for the fourth year in a row, the Toller Rattlers will be playing the Moody Bearcats in their first round of baseball playoffs. The schedule will be Friday, May the 3rd. This coming Friday. No, next Friday. Next Friday. Next week. May the 3rd, 5 p.m. They will have the first game at 5 p.m. on Friday the 3rd. Now, the second game will follow 30 minutes after the completion of game 1. Hopefully, we'll hear both of those games right here on the sports scene. I've already taken care of my arrangements at work, changed some days off and that sort of thing so that we can do it. Now we just got to get the schools to agree, and we'll be in like Flynn. If necessary, and it won't be necessary, but if necessary, the Rattlers will have to play again on Saturday at noon. That's not going to happen, folks. The Rattlers are going to sweep them. They will be by district champs again and pass Moody again this next weekend. Now, $5 for adults, $3 for children. All passes will be accepted. Please do not bring sunflower seeds to the games. And all games are in Itasca. So it's going to be in Itasca. Lady Rattlers, don't get confused. Lady Rattlers are playing Itasca in Rio Vista tomorrow. And then next week, the Rattlers will be in Itasca taking on the Moody Bearcats for by-district action. One more thing I want to do on Toller News. It's We Bleed Purple. That's right. We Bleed Purple. Put that up there. This is from the TollerSports.com. You can go on there. They're getting ready for their little Pee-wee football extravaganza. You got a little one, you want to get them in football, Contact Sports. I tell you what, they've got good coaches and good programs there for Toller. Go check them out. Go to TollerSports.com, and that's where you can find all the information. Who's ready for the NFL draft? And who's ready for the mock draft right here on the sports scene? We're going to go through this as quickly as possible. Don't want to keep you up too late. We got a late start, so let's get right into it. And coming up first on the podium, this pick is coming from the Carolina Panthers to the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears are on the clock, and with pick 1 in round 1 of the NFL draft, the Chicago Bears are going to take Caleb Williams, quarterback from USC. He is, of course, a junior, but he's coming out, and the 6'1", 215-pound quarterback, man, I tell you what, he was the pick of the litter, and all this past season everybody could talk about was Caleb Williams entering the draft this year and becoming possibly a first-round pick. Well, guess what? He gets it. Now, prospect ranking, for me, I think he's the second best pick in this draft, but I think he's the first best pick in his position, and so there's no drama as expected. Number 1 overall. The only question as to whether or not Chicago will use their full allotment of time to reveal the inevitable. I don't think they will. I think Chicago's just going to run up there. They'll throw the pick up, and we go. Now, here comes the drama, folks. There's always drama in the NFL and NFL draft picks. And be because Washington is on the clock. The Washington Redskins are on the clock. And if you follow the Washington Redskins at all, the Washington Redskins they are always looking for quarterback help. And this year they're really looking for it. Will it be Drake May from North Carolina, the sophomore phenom who, 6'4", 230 pounds. The kid is built like a Sherman tank. I have him as the second position rank and fourth prospect rank overall. Or will it be Jaden Daniels, quarterback from LSU, the senior, 6'4", 210 pounds. I have him as the sixth prospect rank and the third position rank overall. And I tell you what, there's a lot of talk in this. Drake May is more highly rated for me personally, but there is a lot of buzz linking Washington with LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels. Is it a smokescreen, or where the wind is generally blowing right now? Well, after all of the noise and everything, folks, I've got the pick, and I think that they're going to do this. I think the Washington Redskins, with the second overall pick in the 2024 draft, select Jayden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU, the 6'4", 210-pounder. And I tell you what, Daniels was big, had a lot of interest from New England. New England was really, really wanting Jayden Daniels, thinking very highly on him, but so was Washington, and I think Washington's going to pull the trigger, and with pick 2 takes Jayden Daniels. So with no surprise, with pick 3, right after the pick of Jayden Daniels, they run to the table. They run up to the table and they say, hey, the New England Patriots select with the 3rd pick in the first round, 2024 draft, the 6'4", 230-pounder. Man, this quarterback, out of all the quarterbacks, I think when it's all over and done with 4 or 5 years from now, when these players are coming their 5th-year eligible contract, I think this is the guy. This is the guy. It reminds me a lot of Josh Allen, but faster. And I think this guy's got all the intangibles. I think he's going to be a solid pick there at number 3 for New England. And New England without Bill Belichick, what's that going to look like with a rookie quarterback going in? And I think they have a lot in place that he can work with. Washington's just always got headaches and problems all the time, so you don't know what's going to go on. Hey, guess what? Pick 4, the card is in. I'm going with Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver. He's going to go to Arizona. I have him as the first prospect pick in the whole draft. I have him ahead of everybody so far as prospect. I think this guy is going to light the NFL on fire. He is just a hard worker. Position rank, of course, number 1 out of the wide receiver position. And I'm telling you what, Marvin Harrison Jr., if that name sounds familiar, Marvin Harrison, man, with Indianapolis, he tore it up, and he was just a solid player. So Arizona gets the best receiver out of the draft. A lot of people said who will be the first wide receiver off the board. There's a case for any one of the 3, the big 3, which we'll talk about. Arizona has traditionally favored bigger-bodied wide receivers like Fitzgerald and A.J. Green, but this time they go with Marvin Harrison Jr. There's a lot to be said for pedigree, and this guy's got it, and he's going to be super hot. Marvin Harrison Jr. up there. Oh, guess what? Newsflash. I only have one trade in my mock draft, and it comes right here at pick 5, and I've got Minnesota trading up to the 5th pick in the first round with the Los Angeles Chargers. So hard for me to call them the Los Angeles Chargers. We call them San Diego for years and years and years. But they're going to trade up. Now, San Diego's going to get pick 11, and they're also going to get pick 23. So good situation for the Chargers, because the Chargers have a lot of holes to fill. And Minnesota has said from day one, after the season ended, that they want to trade up in this draft, and they want to get their guy. And their guy, who is their guy? Well, I think if they were honest, they would say that they would really hope that May would fall, but he's not going to fall to 5. And I think that those 3 quarterbacks are going to be off the board, talking about Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels and Drake May. So you're here at pick 5. So what does the Minnesota Vikings do trading up? Kirk Cousins out of Minnesota. They take, oh yes, that's right, J.J. McCarthy, quarterback out of Michigan, 6'3", 202-pounder. I have him as the 20th prospect rank. So I don't know why you wouldn't stay at 11. I'll tell you why. Because there's other people in the draft that where if this guy was available, he might be gone. Well, they're going to jump up and take him. I have him as the 4th position rank. So I think he is the 4th best quarterback in this draft at this time. Not to say that one of them, who I don't even have in the first round, uh, and that's Bo Nix. Not to say that Bo Nix couldn't be a first round draft pick. All right, we've gotten some internet problems. I'm going to do this. I'm going to switch over because I can. Here we go. There we go. This is simulating talk, man. I mean, you got to know that all of the prognosticators, they don't know what they're talking about, but the sports scene does. You can always count on the sports scene to give you the best picks. I can tell you that right now. Okay, so here we go. Um, First pick. Okay, so J.J. McCarthy goes at 5 to Minnesota on a trade. Okay, so here we go. Round one, pick 6. Well, who's he going to go to? Who's he going to go to? Well, on the clock are the New York Giants. And the New York Giants can screw up anything. I mean, they can come up with some really dumb stuff. But you know what? I think they get a good position player, something that they can use. And if you watch the Giants last year, they needed wide receiver help. Well, this young man right here is going to help them. And this guy is Malik Nabers. He is 6 foot, 200 pounder out of LSU. Strong, strong wide receiver. I have him ranked third, but I think he fits the Giants system a little bit better. And based on all of the dirt sheets and everything, the Giants are real high on this young man, and they feel like putting him in the system, he'll be good. Now, if J.J. McCarthy was available at this point, they may take J.J. McCarthy. They're real high on McCarthy. But after those 4, the fall off for the next quarterback position, I think, is just too big. So I think they go wide receiver here. Malik Nabers fits their deal. He's also the second ranked position wide receiver I have. And with Marvin Harrison Jr. already gone, I believe they go with Malik Nabers. And New York would get a number 1 wide receiver to pair with Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt was coming on last year, his rookie season. Malik would be the first wide receiver off the board. The second could be the first wide receiver off the board. The second or the third. It really depends on which teams are there to pick those players and what they want to do out of the position. I already said that, and I'm telling you right now, I believe this is your man. So, guess where we're at, man? We're rolling right along. This is the draft party. If you want to comment and give us your draft picks, go right ahead, man. I want to know, who do you think is going to go for your favorite team, or for a team that you think is going to surprise everybody with the draft. I've already announced a trade in my mock draft, the only one I'm going to announce because it's the only one I feel confident enough doing. So with pick 7, Tennessee, man, what a rough year they had last year. Tennessee needs some help on the offensive line, and they go, in my opinion, with one of the best ones in the draft. And this guy right here, Joe Alt. Joe Alt is a beast out of Notre Dame. 6'7", 322 pounder. He is a tackle, and he is a natural tackle. This guy, his footwork is some of the best you'll see at the tackle position, and I believe he's going to do it. If you, I see a lot of people jumping on and off here. If you want to tell me your picks, who do you think the Cowboys will take? Who do you think you could give us your pick? Just comment in the comment section, and we'll go from there. We've got some internet issues coming in and out, but hang in there with us, folks. We're going to get through this together, okay? So Joe Alt to Tennessee has felt so much of a lock as Caleb Williams to Chicago. Now the Titans will have added offensive linemen in the first round in consecutive years, which will go a long way towards protecting Will Levis and his interest. So the Tennessee Titans building something here. You know, they lost their longtime stud running back in the offseason in free agency, but they picked up a really good one. And look for Tennessee to have a little bit different look. But protecting Levis is a priority. And Joe Alt, solid pick there at number 7. We're all the way to pick number 8 in the first round. And it is the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons getting Kirk Cousins in free agency, filling a need and a void that they've had for a long, long time. They've got some running backs. They've got some wide receivers. They've got a great tight end. They've got all kinds of help on that offensive line, but they need to shore up that defense. And I think they do a good job at doing that right here. I've got them at number 8 pick. It will be out of Alabama, Dallas Turner, big edge, 6'4", 252 pounds. Reminds me a lot of a guy that plays in Dallas, number 11. He is the 7th prospect overall in my draft deal. So this is a good value at pick 8, and he's the first position ranked at edge. If they stay put at 8, then Dallas Turner feels like a slam dunk choice. One situation to monitor: if the Cardinals or the Chargers trade back, if they go back, do not be surprised if either move backs up ahead of Chicago in the event one of those top receivers is still available. So they could go receiver. I don't think they do. I think they stay right where they're at, and they go with Dallas Turner. Big edge rusher, super quick, super fast, and super mean. He plays the position like it's been meant to play. And I tell you what, that's going to be scary. Atlanta could be scary this next year, even this next year. As soon as this next year, Kirk Cousins will definitely be a godsend to a team that has not had really, really steady quarterback play since way back when Matt Ryan was good. And that was a while back. Pick 9 goes to the Chicago Bears. Picking again. Here comes the Chicago Bears. They're up on the clock. They picked a quarterback at pick 1 with Caleb Williams. Will they trade out of this pick? Will they trade down? It's a possibility. But here in this deal, I'm going to say they stay right here at 9, and they pick prospect ranked 10th in my whole draft board and number 3. But I believe, out of all of the things that I've seen, and I believe that this young man will fit the type of wide receiver that Caleb Williams wants to throw to, Rome Odunze. He's out of Washington. Of course, he was a junior, 6'3", 215 pounds. Cat quick. He is the 3rd receiver off the board, and the other example of Chicago supporting its young quarterback. Few rookies have walked into a better situation than the one in Chicago, where Williams will be throwing to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, and now Odunze. And I'll tell you what, that's a lot of firepower that they're giving that young man. In Chicago, offensively, will be a very interesting team to watch this next season. Mark my words. Pick 10 is in, and it comes from the New York Jets, who usually pick at 1, and they usually take a quarterback, and he usually goes sour. Will Aaron Rodgers be able to compete this year? Will he be able to stay healthy this year? Who knows? And folks, give us your picks, man. I see you on here. Go ahead, tell us who you think the Cowboys are going to take. Who will take, if the Cowboys aren't your favorite team, who's your favorite team, and who do you think they'll pick? Just comment on the comment section, and I'll pop it up here. It definitely helps the broadcast. Pick number 10 goes to the New York Jets. Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia. Now, guys, this guy gives me nightmares. This dude is, I'm telling you what, this is Travis Kelce 2.0. I'm telling you what, this guy right here is a beast. He's hard to take down. He's fast. I think he's faster than Kelce. He runs routes perfectly. He can block. He can do it all. I mean, this guy right here is the Swiss Army knife. He's the Cody Jones of this draft, boys and girls. And I'm telling you what, I've got him going here now. He is my 14th prospect rank, and he is number 1 in the tight end position rank. 6'4", 240 pounds. New York will be faced with the decision to go with all in on potentially win a championship now or plan for the future. Selecting an offensive tackle would be a nod to the future, while the selection of Brock Bowers is a win-now move. And I tell you, all indications are Aaron Rodgers is going to be ready, and Aaron Rodgers is going to play. Brock Bowers is another weapon, and a weapon that Aaron Rodgers knows how to use. If you go back to his Packer days and you look and see what he did with tight ends that didn't have half the talent that this guy has, I'm telling you right now, that's a scary situation. I've got Brock Bowers going there at pick 10 to the New York Jets. Pick 11. Now, from my mock trade a little earlier for the Minnesota Vikings, this is where the LA Chargers get in the pool at pick 11. And the Chargers need help everywhere. And where do you start? You always start at the foundation. What makes a team great? What makes them good? Well, defense wins championships, but offensive line keeps your quarterback healthy and allows you to be able to keep him healthy. And they go offensive line here. They're going to take J.C. Latham, offensive tackle out of Alabama, 6'6", 360 pounds. He's a big boy. Jim Harbaugh is familiar with J.C., going back to his high school recruitment. The Chargers need a right tackle, and Latham will be able to solidify that role by blocking for Justin Herbert. Now, he is the 5th position ranked at this position, but because of his familiarity with Jim Harbaugh, Harbaugh can take this guy and plug and play him right away at right tackle. He is the 19th position rank, so I think he's being taken a little early here, but to the right team, it's never too early. Sometimes picking for need is good. Just ask the Cowboys. They do it every year, and it does them no good. Okay, so here we go. We are now at pick 12, and pick 12. I fought with this, but I kept reading because I know nothing about Denver, to be honest with you. Denver has been the abyss of the NFL, but now they've gotten rid of Russell Wilson, Donnie's favorite quarterback, and they've gotten rid of him. And I kept looking at defensive back, and I kept seeing this guy as a position ranked number 1 on almost every other or most every publication I looked at. And then I looked and saw what Denver was looking at, and it just makes sense. So I'm going to have them taking it here. This is Quinyon Mitchell. He's a cornerback. He is the number 1 ranked cornerback in this draft out of Toledo. And he's a junior, 6 foot, 196 pounds. Cover corner, and he is deadly. I have him as the 8th prospect rank. So this is a really good steal at pick 12 for the Broncos, 1st position rank and 8th prospect rank, and a need position for the Broncos. The Broncos would likely try to trade back if they found themselves in this position. Perhaps a team would be looking to come up for an offensive tackle. As it stands, they stand pat and draft Quinyon Mitchell to play opposite Patrick Surtain. Good luck throwing against the Broncos. Now, here's what I will tell you. The Broncos could trade back. And a big team that should do this would be the Dallas Cowboys. And I only say that because of the next pick. The Dallas Cowboys definitely need offensive line help. Offensive line, again, I say foundations are the most important. Foundation of offense is a good offensive line. Foundation of the defense is a good defensive line. Line play makes your team. It doesn't matter if you have a running back that can run for 3,000 yards in a season. It doesn't matter if you have a quarterback that can throw 4,000 yards in a season. They can't do diddle if that offensive line isn't solid and isn't able to do their job. And so offensive line is a big, and this draft is loaded with offensive line help, but the Cowboys are picking all the way down at 24. So to me, it would make sense. Jerry's not going to do it. He's just not going to do it. It would make sense to trade up because at this pick, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to get a steal. They're going to take this guy right here. He is big. He is bad. 6'6", 334 pounds, and moves cat quick. This guy, and look at them arms, guys. He's got a great wingspan, super smart, played for Oregon State. And I'm telling you, this guy, Tallahassee Fuaga. He is an offensive tackle. Prospect ranked is 12th on my board. Position ranked is 3. The Las Vegas' offense is a tower of cards. The unit depends a lot on Devontae Adams, and the offensive line outside of Colton Miller is not much to write home about. The Raiders look to start changing the narrative, tabbing Tallahassee Fuaga as their new starting right tackle. And I believe that the Las Vegas Raiders at pick 13 take this young man, and boy, I tell you what, you couldn't do worse. This guy's going to be a day 1 starter. Speaking of day 1 starters, at pick 14, the New Orleans Saints. They go offensive line as well. I've got them going here with, oh man, here we go with the names. Alugamawa Fashima And guys, I know this guy because I've been studying him nonstop for the last couple of months. He's a junior out of Penn State, 6'6", 317. He is the 5th prospect rank in my draft and 1st position rank. So at pick 14, the New Orleans Saints, man, they get a steal of a deal here, and they take an offensive tackle. This is the one I wanted the Cowboys to take. They're not going to make it. The offensive line tackle position has quickly become New Orleans' biggest need. Trevor Penning has not yet lived up to his expectations, and the structural stability of Ryan Ramczak's knee has been called into question. So Fashanu, I'll get it right, folks. No, I won't. Is a plug-and-play starter day one at pick 14. Prospect ranked 5 and position ranked 1. Huge steal for New Orleans. Probably one of the bigger steals value-wise out of the whole draft. This guy right here. Big pick, big guy. So there you had Latham off the board. You've got Fuga off the board, and you've got this Fashima off the board. You also had Joe Alt off the board. Offensive line falling like a house of cards here in the NFL draft and the mock draft here that I'm doing. Okay, so we get to the Indianapolis Colts. Well, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. What do the Colts need? Well, they need a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, cornerbacks, safety. Yeah, they need it all. Kicker, punter, GM, head. They need everything. The Colts always a whole lot of promises and never delivering. I mean, this team has been in purgatory for a while now. What could turn it around? Well, a solid defense. Defense wins championships. Defense gets you back in the game. And you can disguise some weak offense with a super strong defense. And so with pick 15, they're going to take this young man, Cooper DeJean. He is a cornerback out of Iowa, 6'1", 207 pounds, the 23rd prospect rank in the NFL draft, but I have him as the 3rd position ranked at cornerback. The Colts have been talking about Cooper for quite some time. Terrion Arnold may surprise some, but Indianapolis values athleticism, and DeJean showed more of it at his pro day. Cornerback is a big need for the franchise, as evidenced by their involvement in trade discussions for L'Jarius Sneed. They discuss it here in the first round, and they take this young man. Now, this guy used to play quarterback in high school. You know, if you're a good quarterback, you can make a good in other levels. You can make a good bid to be a good cornerback, because cornerbacks have to know what quarterbacks think. Hey, looky here, little bro Donnie Wood picking here, and he's going to send a message in here. He says my Cowboys pick is Jackson Powers Jackson. He can be our starting center for years from day one. And Donnie, boy, I tell you what, man, JPJ is a bad man, y'all. And it's Jackson Powers Jackson. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Donnie, I would love to agree with you, man, but I just don't think he's going to get there. You know, offensive line, big need for a lot of teams, and the Cowboys way down there, and Jerry Jones is stubborn, and come on, guys, I mean, he's getting old a little bit, you know. It's a lot like that guy that's in the White House right now. Don't know where he's at, what he's doing sometimes. You're just going to get that way when you get a little on in your years. I mean, I forgot what I was doing here for a minute. It happens. So here we go with pick 16 in the NFL draft. The Seattle Seahawks pick Troy Fontenot. He is the offensive interior lineman. He plays some center, but he primarily plays guard. And they moved him around at Washington. He played both left and right guard. This guy he's very smart, very, very smart. 6'4", 317 pounds. 21st prospect ranked. I got him as the 1st rank as an interior lineman in this draft. He's going to go to Seattle. It's one of my favorite potential fits of the first round. He would reunite with his offensive coordinator and offensive line coach from Washington while serving as an immediate upgrade at offensive guard and also serving as insurance at offensive tackle in the event that both starting offensive tackles get injured again. That's what happened to him this last year. Both of them They have some good tackles in Seattle, but both of them got hurt this last year, and that can cause some problems. This guy will give you a lot of depth. He's played everywhere across that line, and you can't undervalue that. It's a very, very big commodity when you have flexibility, especially at a very, very big need there. Donnie says, true. He's agreeing with me. True. So I just don't think he's going to be there, Donnie. I want him. I want him bad. It's my pick too, but not tonight, and I don't think not tomorrow night. So we are at pick 17 in the NFL draft. We're only going to do the first round. I will give you some insights in the second round on the Cowboys, what I think they might do there, and what I projected them to do. But I tell you what, we're at 17, and that means the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. Jacksonville, boy, I tell you what, Jacksonville's got a lot of stuff, but they lost Calvin Ridley. Well, they're going to replace him right here. Here you go. This is your 17th pick in the NFL draft. It's Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. The 6'4", 205-pound junior was great with LSU, and with Jaden Daniels leaving, a lot of LSU players going to be jumping ship. This is one of them. He is the 18th prospect rank in my draft, 4th position rank, and Jacksonville can find a new cornerbacks to throw into equation later in the draft, but Brian Thomas Jr. gives the Jaguars that X potential that they will now be missing with the departure of Calvin Ridley. And I'm telling you, this guy right here on Sundays, guys, write his name down. He is going to be really, really good. That is Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU, going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars must have probably the I'm just going to keep Donnie's true up here because he's going to agree with all my picks. So here we go. We are now at pick 18, and speaking of, we talked about good-looking uniforms in the form of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's talk about some ugly uniforms, and that's what this last pick had wore for quite some time. This next pick, he wore Cincinnati's on the board, and today I read where both Hendrickson, I think that's his name, the standout defensive end for Cincinnati, and the standout wide receiver Higgins, both want out of Cincinnati and have asked for trades. When you have players asking for trades, oh my gosh, it's just never going to be a good situation. But here they get a chance to at least fill a need on the defensive side because they take this guy in the ugly orange uniform there. But I have him as the first position rank at defensive line. And, man, Cincinnati needs a defensive line. Remember, good defense, the best foundation. Byron Murphy II out of Texas. He's a 6'1", 308-pounder. Young guy. He was a junior this year. I have him as the 15th overall prospect rank. So picking at 15, this is a good pick for Cincinnati. I like the idea of throwing Murphy into the fold with B.J. Hill and Sheldon Rankins. It gives the Super Bowl contender depth and a future at the position. Los Angeles would love to have Murphy one pick later. So the Los Angeles Rams are now on the clock. That guy, look at him, y'all. He's a beast. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite picks. One of my favorite picks in the draft. When I was doing the mock draft and everything, and I got to this guy right here, I said, man, I like this guy. Man, I wish Cowboys were smart. They might take a guy like this, but they didn't, and they're not, and that's going to be it. Donnie says that Murphy is going to be the next Aaron Donald. Yeah, Donnie, you that's true. That's true. It could definitely fall that way, Donnie, because that guy is a beast, and he knows how to play position. Here we are, the LA Rams on the board at pick 19, and they take this guy right here. This is a perfect fit for him. This guy right here, Latu. He is an edge rusher from UCLA, 6'5", 265-pounder. This guy is a football player. Prospect rank is 16, and position ranked is 3. So picking at 19, this is a great value pick for Los Angeles. in round one. After missing out on Byron Murphy, they take Latu, who is the draft's most pure pass rusher, to play opposite Brian Young. And I'm telling you, Latu, you will be hearing his name on Sundays. Good player right there. Good pick for the Rams. Okay, we go to the next pick. Now, guys, I've told y'all, I made no bones about it. And Donnie alluded to this guy earlier, and he goes here. And I'm talking about Jackson Powers Johnson, the interior offensive lineman. I call him an interior offensive lineman because even though he would be an all-pro center, he could be an all-pro tackle. Okay, we're back. Sorry, folks. There he is. Jackson Powers Johnson, 6'3", 320-pounder out of Oregon, 30th prospect rank and the second position rank at his position. But I was really hard on him on this one, going second, because he is a stud. There has been a lot of buzz linking the Steelers to Oregon's center Jackson Powers has made attempts to address the position in recent free agent classes, but those have not worked out. The Steelers added an immediate starter with their first pick right here, day one starter, and that's where he goes, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, not the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Pick 21. Pick 21 is going to be another offensive lineman. I'm telling you, there's a lot of them, guys, and there he is right there. Graham Barton, offensive tackle, selected by the Miami Dolphins at 6'5", 314 pounds. The offensive tackle has a lot of versatility. He has a lot of flexibility. The franchise signed Aaron Brewer in free agency, so Barton can slot in at guard to replace Robert Hunt, who signed a lucrative free agent contract with Carolina. So he would be a day one starter for the Dolphins. Duke always produces very intelligent offensive linemen. And scheme-wise, this guy right here is a great positional pick. He's the 51st prospect rank, but he's the 8th position ranked at this deep position. And I'm telling you guys, this dude is a beast. He's going to be good. Barton goes to the Dolphins. And we are ready for pick 22. Pick 22, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles. Now, when I was grading out my mock draft, I did a lot of different charts and stuff like that, and I tried to chart out who, positionally wise and talent wise, had the stronger grade. And dadgummit, the Philadelphia Eagles wound up with a great grade here because they get a phenomenal player, and he's going to go to them right now. There he is right there. Jared Verse out of Florida State, 6'4", 260-pounder, edge rusher. Prospect rank is 9 and position rank is numero 1. This guy is a beast. Philadelphia always values the offensive and defensive lines in the first round. The Eagles are often a franchise positioned to take value when it is presented to them, and that is exactly what Jared Verse represents at this stage of the first round. The 9th overall prospect, the first position ranked prospect at edge, going to Jared Verse. Dak Prescott, man, you got another beast coming at you right there. And the East, he will be one of the beasts in the East. And I tell you what, this is Philadelphia's answer to Parsons for the Cowboys. And boy, I tell you, they hit a lotto right here. So now we're at pick 23. Pick 23 was my mock draft. If you were listening earlier, I said there was a mock draft that the Minnesota Vikings would be trading with the LA Chargers. They would give the Chargers the 11th pick and the 23rd pick so that they could pick at 5 and get the quarterback that they wanted. Here at 23, the the LA Chargers are going to also get a need. They took J.C. Latham earlier in the round, And the Chargers will address another massive need right here. Here he is. Boom. That's him. And yes, if that jersey looks familiar, it is Alabama again. Sophomore, 6 foot, 196 pounder, Terran Arnold. He's a cornerback. I have him the second rated cornerback in this draft, and he is really, really good. Prospect ranked as 13, and the Chargers have been salivating about getting him and putting him in their defensive backfield. So there he is right there with the 23rd pick. Terran Arnold out of Alabama goes to them, the Chargers. Okay, so this pick, you know what? Let's just stop the mock draft right here and now. We'll just end it right here. No, we're not going to end it right here. It's the Cowboys' time. Cowboys' time to pick. They stayed pat. They didn't trade up. They didn't try to get anything of value. They didn't trade some overpriced players that they've got right now, or players that they can't pay. They didn't trade them. Yes. Well, you know what? They could very well do that, Doug Wood. You are correct. Though the Cowboys, they could do that. They could just say, "Yeah, we don't need a number one pick. We'll go ahead and pass, and we've got too much credit cards." If you listen to them this week, Jerry Jones was talking about signing players and signing free agencies, and he goes, "Man, it's kind of like the credit card. We've overused our credit card. We got to pay that thing down before we can start building back up again." So basically, he's waving the white flag already. After he said, "I'm all in. I'm all in." All in with what? Nothing. But the Cowboys do address a need here, and we've been talking. If you've listened throughout this draft party, we've been talking. The Cowboys need offensive line help. You build your team through your defensive line and your offensive line. That is the foundation of both positions. And if you want to keep Dak Prescott upright, you got to address that offensive line after losing Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith. Tyler Smith, with this pick, can stay at guard, which really, if you listen to the Cowboys, that's really what they want to do. And so with this guy, he has a lot of athleticism to transfer over to the left side if you want to do that. Of course, the Cowboys have Steele, and they have a couple of other guys that are veterans at the offensive tackle position. But this guy is going to have a lot more talent. And this is Arminus Mims out of Georgia, the offensive tackle, 6'7", 340 pounder. He will go to Dallas. He is the 18th prospect rank and the 4th position rank. So this is a very high value. Even at 24, it's a high value. And I just wish that the Cowboys would do something different. I wish they'd keep this 24th pick and take Mims here and move up into the draft and take JPJ and take maybe a quarterback or a wide receiver or a defensive edge rusher, somebody like Verse or somebody of that nature. If you did that, you could either let go of Parsons or you could let go of Dak and just start rebuilding. Donnie says he'd take that, and of course we've got Sandra Diaz Saffer, and she says we just need a Jimmy Johnson coach. Well, I don't think coaching is a problem, to be honest with you, folks. I really don't. I think this coach in this stage in his career, he is just he's working with what he's got to work with. I think he does. He's a good coach. I think he's a solid coach, but it's that front office. It's the Cowboys' front office and their mentality that's sinking into his way of mentality, and it's going to be that way with whoever you get. And the Jimmy Johnson days, even though I don't want it to be over, it's over. So the Cowboys, with the 24th pick, take Mims out of Georgia, offensive tackle. And I'll tell you what, I think it's a solid pick right there, even though I would rather it have been JPJ. All right, guys, we are at pick 25. We are cruising right through here. And finally, you guys are commenting. I love it. Coaching is part of the problem. Well, Donnie, I agree and I disagree. I think McCarthy's a good coach. I think the defensive coach that we got rid of was a bad coach, and I'm glad he's gone. He was doing things like playing safeties as linebackers, and just I think with Zimmer coming back, I think with with the Cowboys kind of up against the wall, you're going to see some different things out of the Cowboys this season. That's for sure. They're going to have to, because they really positionally wise. Now, folks, it's not over yet. You got the draft, and you don't know. You can wish upon a star that this front office is going to do something to help this team. And you can wish that after the draft, they go after free agents and they go after the undrafted players that are not going to make this 7 rounds. They've cut the draft to 7. This happened a couple of years ago, and 7 rounds. So there's a lot of undrafted players that make teams, make rosters. There's undrafted free agents that make Hall of Fame careers. So you just don't know. The Cowboys could get lucky. They could hit on some stuff. But if you go with their most recent track record, you can't bank on that. All right, so here we go. Pick number 25. This belongs to the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers. And with the 25th pick, the Green Bay Packers select this young man right here. Clemson's cornerback, Nate Wiggins. He is the 29th prospect rank and the 5th position rank at cornerback. Rasul Douglas was shipped to Buffalo at the trade deadline. Carrington Valentine was up and down. Khair Alexander elected himself a captain one game. Green Bay may be facing more changes at the position, and the addition of Nate Wiggins brings some stability. This kid is a solid cornerback, y'all. He's a little smallish, 6'2" and 185, but he plays bigger than that. I mean, the guy is solid, and if you come from a Clemson program, you got a little something to you. So I got Wiggins going there at 25. 26, I love this name. This is Chop Robinson, and he's going to go to Tampa Bay, y'all, with the 26th pick in the overall draft here in round 1. 6'3", 254-pounder as an edge rusher. Love the number. That's a great number. He is the 22nd prospect rank and 4th position rank, so it's a good grade for Tampa Bay. Shaq Barrett departed in free agency for Miami. Tampa Bay needs more juice off the edge, and that is exactly what Chop Robinson brings at the end of the first round. Now, there is still some development that must take place for him to reach his potential, but there may not be a better athlete at the position. So, there you go. I got Chop going at that pick right there. Okay, we're going to move on down to pick number 27 from the Houston Texans. Arizona has this slot, and the Arizona selected Marvin Harrison Jr. earlier in the first round. They're going to go defense here, and there he is right there. The big old Johnny Newton, defensive lineman, 6th position rank at defensive line, 28th prospect rank. Arizona selects him here. This is a decent place to pick him. Out of Illinois, the 6'2", 295-pounder was a solid player for Illinois. The Cardinals added a high motor interior rusher as they reset the course of the franchise. Jonathan Gannon has an opportunity to give the entire unit a makeover with 6 selections in the top 100. So Arizona going to be big in this draft, y'all. And with their second pick, they go D-line here to help that foundation on that side of the football. And Donnie, you're going to love this if you're still listening. Here it comes. The Buffalo Bills, projected team. They're going to take them a Longhorn right here. Can you guess who it might be? Well, that's right. It's going to be a wide receiver, and it's this guy right here. Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas, 6'4", 196-pounder, 24th position prospect rank on my board, and 5th position rank at wide receiver goes to the Bills. Now, wide receiver became a massive need for the Bills when they traded away Stefon Diggs. Fans should not expect Mitchell to be a one-to-one replacement, but he has potential to be an impact X receiver down the line. This guy's cat quick. He's got good hands, good movement, and he's smart. So this guy right here going to Buffalo, Josh Allen is super happy about that after he's been crying for the last several weeks about Diggs leaving. I don't know if he's been crying. They just didn't get along. Pick 29, we are down towards the end here in this first round. Here we go. The Detroit Lions are up. And, of course, my boy Dan Campbell, Glen Rose's own Dan Campbell, he's a big on this guy right here. And it's another Alabama player. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Here he is. Boom. Right there. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now, Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, what a name. What a name. That's as goofy as Donnie. I mean, come on now. 6'1", 195. He's a cornerback. I have him as the third rated cornerback in the draft. Prospect ranked as 25. A year after taking Alabama defensive back Brian Branch in the second round, Detroit now takes his former teammate in the first round. Kool-Aid was at one time viewed as a top 10 selection, and that potential is still inside of him. Had a little off year. Some people say character issues. I don't know. I think there's always character issues when you come out of Alabama. You don't get all that NIL money anymore. You got to take a pay cut to go to the NFL. Okay, so pick 30 upon us, and setting at pick 30 is the Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a scary team. If you have not been following what they've been doing in free agency, man, this team's going to be bad to the bone. And after having an impressive playoff run, they get stronger here in the draft because they take this guy right here, Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma, 6'7", 328 pounds. I don't like him in the Cowboys, but I do like him here for Baltimore. 38th prospect rank on my big board, 6th position rank. After trading Morgan Moses to the Jets, Baltimore had a void at right tackle. The selection of Guyton is a reinvestment in that position. Ronnie Stanley has been unable to stay healthy on the left side, so the Ravens really do need to achieve some stability in these roles. And they do it right here, taking one heck of a offensive tackle in Guyton. And who knows? I think all these offensive linemen, almost all of them, with the exception of the one coming up, I think are day one starters. I mean, I really do. This is how deep this offensive line. It's deep at quarterback. It's deep at wide receiver. It's deep at offensive line, and it's also deep at edge. So there's a lot of going on here in this draft. And with pick 31, San Francisco runs up to the board, and they're going to take this young man right here out of Arizona. Whoops, there he is. Out of Arizona, it is Jordan Morgan. He's an offensive tackle, 6'5", 325 pounds, 52nd prospect rank on my board and number 9 position rank. But San Francisco's crazy about this guy, and they have one former first-round selection on its offensive line in Trent Williams, and he could retire at any time. The 49ers reinvest in the position with the selection of Jordan Morgan, who will be given a look at guard or right tackle, and could actually even also be a day one starter. However, I had him ranked down a little bit lower, but I've been studying some stuff on him this past week, and I can kind of see why. If you look at his hands there and look how long his arms are, this is the type of body, this is the type of size that that they covet. And he's very quick on his feet, which helps when you have the running back that they have, Christian McCaffrey. So Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle out of Arizona, goes to the 49ers. Folks, I really enjoy doing the mock draft. I enjoy working it up and everything, and I enjoy this opportunity tonight to share it with you. I love the viewers on here. Hate that we've had some linkage problems, but internet's a little spotty down here in the hole that I live in. I live kind of on a deep, deep hill, so I appreciate y'all hanging in there. Okay, so we're at the final pick of the first round, and it belongs to the world champs themselves, the Kansas City Chiefs. What do the Chiefs need? Let's see. I've got somebody comment here. Donnie says quarterback. No, I don't think so. Donnie says second round pick for the Cowboys. I want them to take Jonathan Brooks, running back from UT and Hallettsville, Texas. We obviously need a running back, and he is the best fit for the draft. Okay, so hang in there, Donnie, because I'm fixing to tell you who the Cowboys are going to take in round 2. Because I did a 7. Look here, folks. I did a 7 rounds of mock draft here. So I'm not going to go over that with y'all tonight. This is the last pick, and they're running it up to the board. Look at them there. I mean, they are running up to the board. Oh, they fell. They get back up. Okay, so here we go, and it is another offensive lineman. The Chiefs take Kinsley Samata, offensive tackle out of BYU. He was a sophomore entering the draft. 6'6", 325 pounds. Folks, look at him real quick, and then go look at a picture of Tyron Smith. Folks, I'm telling you, man, this guy is a beast. Look at those arms, and look at those hands. I mean, this guy is an offensive tackle. He's the 40th position rank on my big board, seventh out of the position, but prospect rank 40. Kansas City's offensive tackle solutions did not exactly pan out this past season. Despite winning the Super Bowl, Orlando Brown Jr. was an attempt to identify the starting left tackle for a decade plus, but he had his own financial goals that had him to be achieved elsewhere. Kinsley can hopefully be what Brown wasn't, and that is the case right there. You got a franchise quarterback making all that money and is the face of your team. You need to protect him, and that's what they do here by taking what I feel like is one of the higher echelon offensive tackles in the draft, and there you go. All right, folks, as I said, I'm not going to go through the whole entire draft with you, but I did want to make some notables. Looking through here, there's a lot of Texas schools in the second round. Houston, I have the Commanders via the Bears that he selects at the 40th pick. Patrick Paul, offensive tackle out of Houston. There's a Texas A&M player here, Edgerrin Cooper, who is a linebacker going to the Packers. Bo Nix. Everybody's interested in Bo Nix, and the Raiders are going to take Bo Nix at pick 44, quarterback out of Oregon in the second round. And I do really believe that. Donnie likes Texas players. Jatavon Sanders, tight end, will go to the Colts at 46. Xavier Worthy out of Texas will go to the Bengals at 49, wide receiver there. Let's see. Who else do we got here that you might be interested in? At pick 56, I have the Dallas Cowboys. I'll tell you who gets picked at 57. It's going to be Spencer Rattler, quarterback out of South Carolina. He's going to go to the Buccaneers. Oh, you wanted to know who's going to the Cowboys. At pick 56, I have the Dallas Cowboys selecting Jonathan Brooks, running back out of Texas. Donnie, it's right there. I can show it to you. You see him right there? There he is. Boom. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Do remember that the girls, the Toller Lady Rattlers, playing in playoff action in Rio Vista. Oh, Donnie's got or somebody's messaged me here. I got to see the messages, folks. Oh. Donnie says, good job, old brother. Well, I tell you, Donnie, I just believe the Cowboys have to address it. And Jonathan Brooks makes a good fit for the Cowboys, and I think that's what they do. So, Toller Lady Rattlers will be taking on Itasca in Rio Vista. First pitch is slated for 6 o'clock. Y'all want to get on down there. I get off at 6, so I'll be down there as promptly as I can. I might even slide out of work a little early. Who knows? The Rattlers will be playing their bi-district round against Moody Bearcats for the fourth year in a row. This will take place down in Itasca. They will be first pitch is slated for 5 o'clock on Friday, and 30 minutes after completion of the first game will be the second game. There won't be an if necessary game, but if that place, if Houston freezes over, that's what I should say. If Houston freezes over, then there'll be a third game on Saturday at noon. So look for that to be broadcast, the first two games at least, on the sports scene. We're going to try to make that work. I've already gotten permission to be off that day, and all we got to do is get the schools on board, and it'll happen. Admission is $5 for adults, $3 for children. All passes will be accepted. Please do not bring sunflower seeds to the game, and all games are in Itasca as averted. And if you have a little one that wants to play, so I'm going to get this up here. I got to move this way. All right, there we go. If you bleed purple like I do, and if you have a youngster wanting to play some football, well, here's your opportunity to play. Tollersports.com. That's where you need to go to, Tollersports.com. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a coach, I don't know if they have those available. If you have a daughter that wants to be a cheerleader, if you have a son that wants to be a cheerleader, if you have just any need football-wise, you couldn't do any better. Doug will pass in the second round also. You know, Doug, you could be right. You could be right. Doug's at home. Everybody pray for him because he's Doug. No, I'm just saying. Folks, I have enjoyed tonight being here with you guys and bringing you my mock draft. Let me know how I did. Again, you can always come on, even though the show's fixing to end here. You can always go on and you can always comment later on your pick for your favorite teams and how you think this one went and where you think those Cowboys are going to try to do it. Come on, JPJ, be there. Jackson Powers Johnson, we need him, but I like my pick of Mims for the Cowboys. So until next time, folks. Hopefully we'll have another sports scene for you next Wednesday. I'm working on it with Donnie. Who knows? We might be able to get that on, and we'll be able to compare mock draft with real draft as it starts tomorrow night. Until then, folks, God bless. We'll see you down the road.